Well, it's not an easy job to run a state these days, and particularly if it's a new state vying to compete for investments with the likes of a Karnataka or a Tamil Nadu or even a Telangana. Joining me now is the Minister for IT, Communications and Education in the state government of Andhra Pradesh, Mr. Nara Lokesh. Thank you very much for speaking with us in this exclusive interview to CNN News 18.
Well, thank you for having me.
So it's been over 100 days since you came to power and you became Minister for IT, Communications, Electronics. How has this stint in ministership been? It's been an action-packed 100 days, lots of issues to talk about.
I mean, Mr. Naidu's government is always action-packed. I mean, especially this time around, he's quite clear that we need to deliver the speed of doing business. So a lot of orientation, a lot of direction from him. And we're all a young team. If you look at it, 17 first-time ministers, 88 out of the 164 MLAs are first-time MLAs. So a lot of energy and a lot of action will be seen now in Andhra Pradesh.
You've been going out of your way, wooing companies like Foxconn, Brookfield Corporation, Suzlon, all who have expressed an interest in investing in Andhra Pradesh. How easy or difficult is it to get investors to a relatively new state, and especially when you're competing against the likes of a Bangalore or a Hyderabad or even a Chennai?
I mean, we have a brand. The brand name is called Chandrababu Naidu.
Okay.
So once Mr. Naidu's government came back to power in Andhra Pradesh, there's been renewed interest in the state, a lot of excitement. So all the names that you've read, they're all now raring to go. And Mr. Naidu himself has made certain commitments as far as the renewable energy is concerned at the RE Invest Summit, where 72 gigawatts will be done in 5 years. And that's a bold statement and a vision that we will go about delivering on that. And in the past, he's done that. He's taken every district with a clear sectoral focus, and he's delivered on it. I mean, Kia came to Anantapur, which was one of India's most backward districts.
Yeah.
The entire renewable energy projects to Kurnool. The electronics manufacturing to Chittoor and Kadapa. Like, we have very clear focus on our districts where we want to bring in investments and create the entire ecosystem. So not only can the businesses survive, but thrive over the next century.
But specifically with regards to your department, information technology, there was a time when people were competing with each other for software companies. In this day and age of AI, when everybody's saying, AI will take away software jobs, a new state like yours, what is the pitch that you make to companies?
Well, fundamentally, if you look at it, every industrial revolution has created more jobs than the past. That's number one. AI will transform the kind of jobs.
Okay.
So, and as an HRD minister, my job is to make sure that I create the next generation leaders and workforce. That's one. Two, Hyderabad has been the benefactor of Y2K. Boom. I believe Andhra Pradesh can be the benefactor of the entire AI revolution. So AI coming and marrying the entire machine learning bit, the quantum computing bit. I think we can do a lot of work in that sector, and we can leapfrog compared to the other states. And Andhra, if you look at it, inherently has amazing engineering talent. If you go globally anywhere, in the IT sector, a lot of Andhrites are already there. In fact, even Telanganites, for that matter. So we have a very important role to play in that sense. So human capital is there. Then you have a government which is going to deliver on speed of doing business. I think it's a lethal combination.
But when you have like Electronic City in Bangalore, the high-tech city in Hyderabad, what does Amaravati offer?
Amaravati is the next generation city. If you look at it, that's where you have all the world-class institutions that have already set up shop, and now they're going to create. They're churning out next generation leaders. Number one. Number two, Amaravati can be India's sandbox, because India has not done a greenfield city at this scale, and it's not just about a capital. We want it to be a knowledge city. So a lot of work is actually going in terms of what technologies can be used to sort of leapfrog the entire curve. And that's what I think Amaravati can offer, not only to India, but to the world.
But tell me, the Chief Minister had talked about decentralization of development. He had talked about ensuring district-specific sort of progress, petrochemical corridor in Godavari, pharma hub in North Andhra Pradesh, financial capital in Vizag, and so on. What would you say to people who say that these are tall promises, you're not going to realize them, certainly not going to realize them in 5 years?
Well, we've done it in the last 5 years of our tenure. Between 14 to 19, Kia came to Anantapur. Who ever thought that? So that's our mobility valley. The entire renewable energy is going to come to Kurnool. The pump storage hydro projects are actually coming up. The entire electronics manufacturing cluster is between Chittoor and Kadapa and parts of Nellore. If you look at it, we manufacture 50% of India's air conditioning. The world's largest TV panel manufacturer, TCL, calls Tirupati its home. So we already have the key ingredients. Aqua, we are number one in the country. Palm oil, we are number one. Pharma, we already have a hub. We just want to build the world's largest pharma hub. So we have all the key ingredients in place. All we needed is a catalyst, and that catalyst is called Chandrababu Naidu. And we can accelerate our growth in that sense.
Talking about the Chief Minister, I believe today he's made an announcement for the establishment of a Ratan Tata Innovation Hub. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So if you look at it, there's a huge opportunities for MSMEs. And the biggest challenge that we struggle is lack of handholding. In each district, if you followed each of my answer, I keep talking about ecosystem. That's very, very important. Politically, I would like to take certain companies in different directions, but I don't think it's right. We have to build robust ecosystems, and that robust ecosystems can create millions of jobs in the MSME space. That's where, after the passing of Ratan Tata ji, Mr. Naidu said, let's do this, where we can focus on MSMEs, train them, guide them, and get the best of entrepreneurs in India, the first generation, second generation, to come handle them, nurture them, mentor them, whilst the state, with central government support, can actually fund these MSME startups. And that's why we want to do these labs.
But you talk about, private investment and all of these big ideas and, private investment sort of crowding in. But the public debt of Andhra Pradesh in 2019-20 was 31.02%. In 23-24, it's climbed up to 33.32%. It reflects a worsening fiscal situation in the state. You have asked for a financial package from the center. Nothing concrete has been announced yet in terms of being able to reduce this fiscal deficit. What would you say to people who are investors who may be concerned about the rising level of public debt in your state?
I mean, this is the exact situation that the erstwhile state was in 95 when Mr. Naidu became the chief minister. Exact situation. So we understand how to get ourselves out of this challenging times. Number one, we have experience in it. Two, there are two sides of the equation, debt and GDP. And if you look at it, we are probably the only political party in India that said that we'll create 20 lakh jobs in 5 years. And that's our first promise that we've made to our citizens. So anyone who's going to create jobs is going to get a red carpet. And that's how we can kickstart the entire economy that is sort of stalled. I believe both welfare and development go hand in hand. The fruits of the development should go back to welfare. And welfare should be fueled by debt. The past government did welfare fueled by debt. And that's what created this entire challenge. Inflation went up. We had various other challenges. So in the next 2 years, you'll see that equation now setting back again, where the fruits of development will actually, fuel the entire welfare.
So you think a new state like yours will be able to grow enough to be able to fund the rising welfare bill?
Absolutely. We've done it in the past and we'll do it all over again.
Okay, let me talk a little bit about your department. We believe recently the floods that affected Vijayawada, and you had this interesting situation where private companies, startups sort of crowded in, built a sandbox, as you said, and helped you with drone technology. Tell us a little bit more about how that helped identify the people who were in need, the people who needed to be rescued, the people who needed, food and water and so on.
If you look at it, the floods that we had in Vijayawada was once in 248-year event. So definitely no one was ready for it.
Okay.
It really caught everyone off guard. It was a flash flood. In greater parts of the city, there's more than 6 feet of water. So the entire area was inundated. So we used things like drones. I wouldn't say that we mastered it, but we actually started piloting it. We had only 40 drones available in our state. We got all 40 and we started delivering food, and we learned that we can do this much better. So we delivered close to, I think, about 50,000 families we delivered through the drones. Of course, we've used the traditional methods of helicopters and dropping in food, but we've used this technology and we understand it better now. Come next time we have any crisis, number one. Number two, we took all the imagery, all the topographical maps. We created a sandbox and we offered it to engineering students and the best institutions in India and in Andhra Pradesh to have them work on it and give us suggestions on how to improve, understand which are the houses that are really inundated, how do we give compensation. So imagine 15 days after the flood, we dispersed close to 650 crores of rehabilitation funds. I mean, no other state has done it in India's history, but we were able to do it because we had the technology in place. It was powered by young students, a lot of ideas coming in from them, and they enabled us to do the entire sandboxing. Even things like repairs. We worked with the gig economy, the various unicorns of India, to say, onboard more and more people of your AC mechanics, your bike mechanics, your TV repair guys, so that they're ready for the citizens when they come on platform. And we give incentives to do that. And so that's how dynamically we've worked.
I do want to ask you, because you'd got into a bit of a Twitter sparring with one of your counterparts from Karnataka when this whole business about private sector reservations came into the news. Do you believe firmly, as a government representative, minister in charge of IT, that reservation should be kept out of the private sector, particularly in the IT industry?
I believe that it won't work.
Why?
The policy never worked. See, if a person is coming and investing in Andhra Pradesh, the single reason he's doing that is looking at the talent we already have, the talent pool we already have. But there will be areas that we don't have. Now, let's take manufacturing, right? Let's take electronics manufacturing to that case. In my first term as IT electronics minister, managerial level, we didn't have talent. We didn't have workforce. While the line workers we were able to train, the managerial workforce we didn't have. So we obviously have to get that expertise from different parts of the state. Once you come up with ratios, either horizontal or vertical, and say that, you have to have so many people, then industry is not going to thrive. So anyone who's looking at Andhra Pradesh is looking at the government and looking at the talent that we have. So I don't believe that's the right way for the nation, in fact.
But tell us, because there's so much focus on jobs, the lack of creation of jobs, it was in fact even a big issue in the 2024 Lok Sabha election. What would you say to those people that all of this is actually not creating the kind of jobs that are required? You need what? 2 million jobs every half year is what we're being told. You're not able to create that kind of jobs with the modern day economy. In fact, you're only creating less and less.
I think as a state, I can't speak for the nation, but as a state, I think we need direction first and then velocity. The Honorable Chief Minister set the direction in terms of what we need to achieve. If you look at this, he spoke about it everywhere, saying that our singular focus is going to be job creation. So that sends a clear message to everyone, from the Chief Minister down to my Sarpanch, from the Principal Secretary to the CM or the Chief Secretary to the government, all the way down to the line functionary, saying that job creation is the single focus and don't come in the way of anyone who's creating jobs. See, the biggest cultural shift I think India needs is not to celebrate wealth, but celebrate industries and industrialists who create jobs. That's what other countries have done very well. And I think that's the fundamental shift we need to bring about. And that's one thing we want to spearhead in the state of Andhra Pradesh.
I do want to come to a couple of issues that have been in the news from your state and otherwise. And I'm sure you're expecting this around this whole Tirupati Laddu controversy. The Supreme Court heard the matter. It's formed now a special SIT of its own. Some officials from your state police, some officials from the CBI. The court did raise some questions about the manner in which the state sort of jumped the gun on this issue. How would you speak to that?
It's not politics, it's actually governance. When the Chief Minister has a certain report on his desk, he is duty bound to explain it to his citizens. So if he keeps the report under wraps, then people will question him why he kept it under wraps. I think that's very unfair. So being as the head of the state, it was his responsibility to explain to people that this has come to his attention, and subsequently he formed a SIT. To that SIT, the Honorable Supreme Court has added 2 members from the CBI and 1 member to the FSSAI.
Yeah.
So it has never found fault for starting a SIT. So just to be clear on record.
Okay.
So in that way, I believe that we are accountable to our citizens, and anything that comes to our attention, we have to explain it to our citizens. And I think what we did was absolutely right.
I believe the court also said this in its order that the 2 cases were registered or the cases were discovered on the 6th and the 12th of July, and yet Mr. Naidu held a press conference about it on the 18th of September. Basically, the court was questioning the timing, saying you got the report in July, but why did you decide to go public on the 18th of September?
The report came to the executive officer of TTD, and then he needs to submit it to the government. So that has a certain process to be done. Once Mr. Naidu got the report, he explained it to the public.
Your political opponent, the former Chief Minister, has said that this is purely political in nature and that there was no merit in these allegations. And in any case, no adulterated ghee was used to make...
NDDB report is quite clear that there was adulteration. Anyway, now there is a SIT. The SIT will do its investigation now and submit a report soon. So I think everything will come out in front of the public.
What do you say to those people who say that this whole thing was politically motivated because you want to, A, conquer the Hindu vote bank, as it were, to try and also checkmate your ally, Mr. Pawan Kalyan, who was aggressively promoting Hindu causes, and establish Mr. Chandrababu Naidu as a more credible Hindu leader, also keeping in check your ally, the BJP, and its political ambitions in the state? How would you respond to that?
See, as a family, we are devout Hindus. As a political party, we have always been a secular party. So we believe that we need to carry everyone to develop a nation. And India has an amazing social fabric that we need to take forward. So I think it's very unfair to attribute anything for nothing but Mr. Naidu putting out facts. He's duty bound to put facts in front of people. He's not like other chief ministers or other ministers who might want to put it aside. No. He said, this is what I've come and it's important for me to explain it to the public. And he took that step and he explained it.
What do you make of the recent election results in Haryana and in Jammu and Kashmir? You think there's a momentum shift after the Haryana results in particular?
I think everyone is clear. India is clear. Job creation should be a single agenda. And now even the federal government, the central government is talking about it. Various state governments are talking about it. Of course, as a state, Andhra Pradesh, we want to lead it from the front. And definitely this will help us get things going.
So to that extent, when you say job creation is the most important thing, how would you see this whole thing about caste census? The Congress and Rahul Gandhi say caste census will lead to identifying who are the people who require jobs and therefore creating jobs.
See, caste census is important. Skill census is equally important. In Andhra Pradesh, we're doing the skill census, where we're getting all the data sets together. We're trying to identify what are the skill gaps of our citizens, what is the industry demand, where does the industry see its jobs heading, the future jobs going to be created, and what is the skill intervention we need to do. So we understand this entire ecosystem. And the skill census will enable us to do it. So I believe both are equally important. Absolutely.
And as I come to the concluding part, it's been over 100 days in this second term. This is the first time you're interacting with the Prime Minister, the Home Minister, leaders of the BJP. You're part of an official NDA now. How has it been interacting with Mr. Modi and his team?
I mean, it's always been an amazing experience. I mean, their commitment to the state and commitment to the nation cannot be questioned. There are always going to be issues that we will not agree upon, and these are things that we will sit across the table, discuss it and resolve it. That's the way I look at it. I believe strong states make strong nation, and I would love Andhra Pradesh to contribute to nation building. Saying that we are a young state, we are a bifurcated state, a capitalist state, there are certain commitments made to the state of Andhra Pradesh. In some form or the other, we would love those commitments to be delivered. It's a hand-holding for a year or two so that we can contribute back to India subsequently, like how we have done it with the erstwhile Andhra Pradesh. And that's what we look at in terms of playing an important role in.
But that special package that you're looking for, or that special status that you're looking for, nothing has come to pass in that.
So there are various other dispensations. It could be the backward district development plan.
Mm-hmm.
It could be allocations with regards to the schedule 10, 11, 9, 10. The bifurcation of various corporations, that is still there. The special package dispensation. So we did get that for Amravati. If you noticed it in the budget, it was quite clearly there. So we will definitely get our what we believe is right for our state.
So you're satisfied with the progress of this alliance, and because many are saying that the Modi third term depends on Mr. Naidu and whether he is happy with the continuance of this alliance.
See, our support to NDA was pre-election.
Mm-hmm.
We walked into India unconditionally. We continue to support NDA and the Honorable Prime Minister unconditionally. For the single reason, we believe in his leadership. We believe in the direction that the nation is heading. And as a state, we believe we have a role to play. And we will play that role. So we will continue to support, but we're going to continue to give our opinion and our feedback on various subjects.
All right. Nara Lokesh, thank you very much for speaking with us here on CNN News.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Jai Hind.
When it comes to investments, it's a tough competition between all the southern states. Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy has been wooing Foxconn, which has in fact showed multiple interests in the state. He has in fact urged the company to invest in electric and lithium battery sector, for which he's been holding back-to-back meetings. But like I said, there's a lot of competition with respect to Foxconn, once with Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and even Tamil Nadu. After the High Court gave its green signal to the Telangana State Public Service Commission to go ahead with the Group 1 exams on the 21st of October, we saw protests break out in Ashok Nagar, which is the hub for TSPSC aspirants. demanding rescheduling of exams until the old cases filed with respect to TSPSC is solved. Old cases including paper leak scam and various others which had in fact marred their aspirations. Throwing weight behind them is the Bharat Rashtra Samiti, which has said it will also continue protests until the government decides to cancel the exams, which is unlikely to happen as the state government here is very firm on going ahead with the exams. And talking about investments, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu has come up with a concrete industrial growth plan with which he wants to create employment for at least 20 lakh youths and generate investments up to 30 lakh crores in the next 5 years that he's in power. He's come up with new policies for MSME, food sector as well as industrial growth in the state. For all the Balaya fans in the house, this one is for you. The highly anticipated sequel to Akhanda blockbuster film of Nandamuri Balakrishna is set to go on floors starting December this year. The puja ceremony was performed by none other than Balaya's daughters Tejashwini and Nara Brahmani. We leave you with those visuals.
Sagite, Nariyeti Tandavam, Akhanda Tandavam!
Over 1,500 Samsung workers who were striking for more than a month had ended protests earlier this week. In fact, speaking to the media after they called off protests, they said that Samsung is ready to meet with most of the demands, including wage hikes. However, recognition of union is something that will continue to be point of discussion between Samsung and the striking workers. But for now, Samsung has assured that they will increase the wages and they will also increase the 5,000 rupee increment that were some of the demands put forth by Samsung workers. Remember, it became political last week when some of the workers were arrested midnight. There was a police crackdown and the allies of the DMK also lashed out at the police crackdown against these striking workers. It became a political debate. However, for now, all is well as the month-long protest has finally come to an end. Heavy rains lashed Chennai and neighbouring districts including Tiruvallur, Kanchipuram and Chengalpet earlier this week, and Chennai came to a standstill as rains lashed the city for over 24 hours. Schools and colleges were shut for 2 days in Chennai and neighbouring districts. Waterlogging was one of the issues that residents faced, but there was respite for Chennaiites as the rains did not continue for more than 24 hours. Therefore, the water levels receded and water from the waterlogged areas were eventually drained out by the state government. Actor-turned-politician Vijay is all set to hold his party, the Tamaraga Vetri Karagam's first state conference next week in Tamil Nadu, where the actor will reveal the party's ideologies and the party flag's significance. His team is in Salem this week preparing the plan of action for the state conference. Remember, preparations are in full swing and the actor is gearing up for the much awaited state conference. Not just the people of Tamil Nadu but the ruling DMK as well as the opposition AIADMK are keenly waiting for the development to know more about Vijay's ideologies and his plan of action for the 2026 state assembly polls.